Hello, everyone. My name is Samir, and I'm here to share my thoughts about service. I often take my cues from the Master Jesus, and he said, no one can serve two masters. So, on the topic of service, first we have to um, check in with ourselves. Who are we really serving? Are we serving the ego or are we serving the divine? How do we tell the difference? That's easy. Uh, we can start by asking some questions like, why are we doing this? Why are we performing this service? And often we might discover it's not, it comes from the ego. Some examples. Are we doing it to feel good? Or are we doing it to look good to others so we can boast at parties or post on Instagram? Or are we doing it out of a sense of obligation? Is it because it's my duty or responsibility? Are we doing it out of guilt? We hurt someone, we're trying to make up by serving them. Or are we doing it just because it's easy or safe? Are we, when we're trying to help someone, are we really helping them, or are we enabling their unhealthy behaviors like entitlement or addiction? Are we wanting to do good, wanting to do the right thing? Even that sense of wanting, it comes from a place of lack within us. So it doesn't really create a positive energy. We can also check in what kind of energy are we creating. Say we're organizing a party for our friends, but we're not in a good mood. We're feeling sad or angry at someone, or we're feeling stressed about time or work. Then if we are serving in that kind of an energy, it's not really going to benefit anyone. Responsibility. I have to do this because I'm a good brother. And that was my ego appeasing itself. Similarly, there was a time when my father was not so well, mostly because he was an alcoholic. And so I decided to devote myself to serving him. And a couple years I spent by his side all day long. Wherever he went, I was next to him. And what nobody knew what I was really doing was I was doing energy healings on him. By that time I had learned how to do some energy work. So I was in my own mind at that time trying to help him stay sober, because I thought that's what's going to heal him. And the way I did it, a lot of what I did was mostly keep him away from the bars, because once he went to the bars, that's when he got in real trouble. And I did that by creating energy barriers between him and bars, him and alcohol. And it worked. And he was mostly sober for a couple years, until I finally realized, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is not right. I think I'm helping him, but in a way, I'm imposing my will upon his, because he doesn't want to stop drinking. And I'm forcing it, and that's not right. So I stopped doing it, and that was a very important lesson for me to learn, is even though I thought I was doing the right thing, from one perspective, from a higher perspective, not really. So I was in service, but not in a healthy way. Then another example I remember is once I moved out here to the Western world, I participated in many different communities over the years, and I love volunteering to set up the events. And usually I choose to volunteer for the cleanup jobs. Why? Because I don't think I'm any good at cooking or entertaining or decorating the setup jobs. So cleaning is easy, simple. I can do it, and I don't think I'm good enough to do anything else. So again, there was my ego involved in there. So these are some examples of when we're actually serving the ego, ours or others. So if we decide, okay, that's not what we want to do, we want to switch over to divine service. Now, what does that look like? Again, somewhere in the Bible, it says, God loves a cheerful giver. I think that is such a wonderful quote. And let's look at the giver aspect first, which is where everybody comes from when they're choosing to be of service. So that givingness is key. And that's already there. But the trick with givingness is you can only give what you have. I didn't think I had the ability to cook, so I don't volunteer for that. I didn't think I can be a speaker, so I didn't volunteer for that. And if let's say you're a great chef, but you volunteer to do setup and decoration, that may not be the best way to use your skills. And you can only give what you have, so that havingness is actually step one. First, we have to discover what is it that we have within us. Then once you realize, oh, I have this, it's just the natural next step is to want to share it. It's then giving is not something, it's not a chore, it's not a task. It's just the natural outflow of what you have within you. So people who have a lot of wealth, they can give charity. People who are physically healthy can do physical labor. People who have music in them can play music. Writers can tell stories. Organizers can organize. Teachers can teach. And leaders can lead. And when you're in sync with what you truly have, then life, you get in the flow of life. Another aspect in here is, as souls, we're multifaceted beings, and we have a lot of qualities and abilities that we've developed over lifetimes. But for each of us, there is always a central aspect, a primary quality that we've developed that's more important to us than all the others. So once we look within and we discover what that is for each of us individually, and we first start sharing that part of us, then everything else in life falls in place, because then we're aligned with our higher self. We're flowing with the flow of the universe, and we're on our true path. We can do all the other work too, like set up and clean up and all the jobs that need to be get done. But when we're first fulfilling that aspect of ourselves, the main reason why we are here, we're in that sense of fulfillment, we are creating a very high level of vibration. We're sharing a very high energy level. And everything we do from that space becomes an expression of who we are, a sharing of who we are. It becomes a labor of love. Once I discovered I'm a spiritual healer, excuse me, and I discovered I have this ability to see energies. So by the time my second sister got married, I did not do any physical work in that wedding. Everybody thought I have become lazy. I'm just sitting there doing nothing. And that's what I looked like. But I was doing my work. I was creating, holding the space, and managing the energies. And everything went well, and nobody knows what I did. And that's completely okay. It doesn't matter because I feel fulfilled. I was so happy being of service to my sister in a way that only I could be. Also, with my dad, so long after, by the time I realized I'm a spiritual healer and I'm living on the other side of the planet, in one of my meditations, I entered into a very deep state and I was communing with God. And I asked for guidance. Hey, I've been trying my whole life to help my dad, and nothing I've done worked. He's still suffering. What do I do? And I got some guidance from God, and I followed it. And man, like instantly, my dad was relieved of so much of his suffering from on the other side of the planet. And nobody knows what I did. And that doesn't matter, because I felt fulfilled. Finally, I was able to help him in my way. When we are being who we are and we are fulfilling a primary purpose here, we are naturally joyful. Joy is the experience of being who we are. It's just an inner experience. It's not an emotion. And that joy, it just radiates. So then we become a cheerful giver just by being who we are. And doing, it doesn't have to be physical doing activities, but being who we are. The doing is an outflow of the being. So who we are being expresses itself in some form of doing. With the communities that I participate in, so once I learned about joy, which took me a long time to learn about joy, then I started volunteering for food prep. I still don't know how to cook, but I figured out how to chop things up. And so I'd show up early morning in the kitchen and I'd help be the sous chef, just chopping things up. But I was being joyful, making jokes, laughing, and just sharing that energy that I'm experiencing of joyfulness. And it is so infectious, and everybody starts joining in the laughter, all the energy starts coming up, and all that energy goes into the food that the whole community consumes, and it benefits the whole community. It just raises the vibration of the whole event. Because just being who we are, a joyful giver, giving what we have to give joyfully, it changes things. And in that flow, everything is easy. There's no effort. There's no doubts in your mind. It's what you're doing is a natural outflow of beingness, and that is divine service. Being who we are in this world, expressing who we are in this world. One more thing here is it's not about serving the divine. The divine doesn't need service. The divine is whole already. It doesn't need anything. It's about serving everybody here in this divided world, reminding them of the undivided, the divine. And we do that by being who we are, sharing and expressing who we are. And that's what I believe is divine service. Okay? Thank you. We'll have a... Thank you. Would you like an experience of that? Wonderful. So we'll have a quick meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes and get that body in a comfortable position so it doesn't fall off. And just breathe. Just focus on your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And decide to be one with the divine. One with the allness, one with the wholeness. And you don't need to know what that is. Let go of any thoughts, all the thoughts, let go of all the feelings, and just breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. And as you're breathing, just imagine a beam of golden light coming down upon you from the heavens. The golden light of the Christ. So even as the umbrellas and the hats are keeping the intensity of the sunlight away, just decide to allow this spiritual golden light enter you and fill you up. And keep breathing. And with every in-breath, just be that divine light. And with every out-breath, share that divine light with the world. Breathing in, being the divine light. Breathing out, sharing the divine light. And just do that for a few moments. Breathing in, being the divine light. Breathing out, sharing the divine light. Being the divine light, sharing the divine light. Nothing to do, just breathe. Breathing in the divine light, breathing out the divine light. Breathing in the divine light, breathing out the divine light. Any thoughts and feelings that come up, just let them be. And just see that light coming in from above and radiating out into the world. Breathing in the divine light, breathing out the divine light. Breathing in the divine light, breathing out the divine light. Breathing in the divine light, breathing out the divine light. Okay, and just decide to let all that be and open your eyes. Come out of trance. Just stretch the body a little bit, however is comfortable. Shake it. Wonderful. Thank you for having me.